Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Happy New Year. My name is Edward Sanshin Oberholzer. I'm the resident priest and guiding teacher at the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. We're part of Empty Moon Zen. Let me begin by laying out the briefest of ancient conversations. Luckily for us, set forth by that wily Rinzai master, Wu Men, in case 30 of his Gateless Gate. This very mind is Buddha. Dame asked Mazu, "What is Buddha?" Mazu said, "This very mind is Buddha." Sit with that for a moment, while I cast my mind back to a January well over a decade ago, when I was Shuso during what we then called the Winter Ongo at the Boundless Way Temple in Worcester, Massachusetts, where I would sit just inside the door to the Zendo. In the early morning, with the sunlight just beginning to stream through the blinds, a white noise machine hummed around the corner immediately behind me, masking the voices in the Doksan room across the hallway. As far as I knew, it was a purely mechanical noise machine, not some electronic mix of dozens of digitized sounds, woven together in a tangled yarn of noise that might be picked apart by a mind more musically inclined than mine. No, just a machine-made, mechanical, physically generated noise that, as I would sit there in the early morning quiet, would morph from an indistinguishable buzz to what I could swear was the sound of a digeridoo playing deep in the outback, and from there on to the wordless chorus of some Eastern Orthodox monks on Mount Athos, chanting in the chill of that early morning, all just heard, just pieced together there on the edge of my consciousness. My mind reaching out, trying to make sense of the randomness presenting itself, finding patterns in the 10,000 grasses, and sometimes just imposing those patterns. We find those patterns all around us, animals and castles and the random forms of clouds, faces in the rock-strewn surface of Mars, conspiracies in the chance alignment of public figures on social media. But it could be deeper than that. Sometimes those forms, those patterns are actually there. After all, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that people aren't out to get you. There is a debate going on in various schools of mathematicians as to whether mathematics reflects the underlying structure of the universe, or is, as the 18th century Italian philosopher Vico held, simply a construct of the mind. A conflict perhaps best resolved by noting that the mind is itself a part of that universe. Our minds are active, reaching out to the world around them, finding those patterns both in the stuff of the universe and in themselves. And isn't this where we find the Dharma? Baked into the world around us, there to be uncovered, to be grasped. The insights of the Buddha sitting there under the Bodhi tree, prodded by the rising of the morning star. Those insights were nothing that you or I couldn't come to if we'd only opened our eyes. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. And this observation of Meister Eckhart could just as easily have been written as the eye through which I see the Dharma is the same eye through which the Dharma sees me. Dogen tells us that to carry the self forward and illuminate myriad things is delusion. That myriad things come forth and illuminate the self is realization. This very eye, this very mind is Buddha. Wu Men never wanted to miss the opportunity to express his appreciation. Gave us this verse for the koan that goes, "The blue sky and bright day, no more searching around. What is Buddha, you ask? Hiding loot, you declare your innocence. Blue sky and bright day, clouds drifting by, digeridoos emerging from the randomness of noise. The Dharma, not simply woven into our universe. The Dharma is our universe, waiting there to be discovered in the 10,000 grasses." But of course, neither Wu Men nor Ma Zu leave us there. That would be all too easy. Just a few pages down in the Gateless Gate, we find him, if not contradicting himself, then pausing and opening that eye, taking in the 10,000 things and seeing them whole. Once again, we can thank Wu Men for case 33. Ma Zu's not mind, not Buddha. A monk asked Ma Zu, "What is Buddha?" Ma Zu said, "Not mind, not Buddha." I nailed a small tray to a fence post in our backyard. What might not go into the composter? Scraps of meat, bones, the remains of a non-vegetarian lifestyle, go into that tray, a gift for the neighborhood crows. Placing the remains of a Christmas roast duck out there on the fence post in back brought an entire murder of crows, descending on the tray, cawing, pecking, grabbing, squabbling. A shining, feathering, swirling mass, very much there, very much a suchness of crows. I see them standing out against the snow-filled field behind the house, just there, each crow in its particularity, each crow a node in the vast universe of crowdom. An Indra's net of crows. Crow, duck bones, snow, sky, grass. Where does one begin? One end? Where in emptiness do we find crows, mind, or Buddha? Just there, just sitting, nudging one another aside and eating out there on that fence post. Were we to hear of crows in the Diamond Sutra, we might expect the Buddha to tell his disciple, "Subhuti, the Tathagata teaches that what are called crows are not crows, and therefore they are called crows." And we chant this, or could chant something like this, each time we gather in the Heart Sutra. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness, and no crows. Franz Kafka, in his Blue Octavo notebooks, has given us this brief parable. The crows maintain that a single crow could destroy the heavens. There is no doubt of that, but it proves nothing against the heavens, for heaven simply means the impossibility of crows. Look through the world around you and you will find intimations of the Dharma, glimpses, echoes, not always complete, but nevertheless, and never less than rich. The sound of a didgeridoo in the midst of white noise, a hint from the sermon of a Christian mystic, a taste of emptiness from a Middle European Jewish writer, and a parting poem from a long ago Zen master. Present a sword if you meet a swordsman. Don't offer a poem unless you meet a poet. When speaking, say 1/3 of it. Don't give the whole thing at once. Unless, of course, you're feeding the crows. Thank you.